Okay. Hi. So we've got a really cool episode today and genuinely really cool. So we've got a guest on and I didn't expect it to go this way in terms of when you've only had one meeting with someone. So we chatted before this, you know that there's so many different ways that can possibly go. They could come and be transactional. It could be presenting a self that is trying to get something and then not actually really diving into who they really want to be. And we've had a mix, right? But today's episode you're about to listen to, I think it hits the spot. There is, like, Thomas is his name. It tells a story that genuinely, I think, hits the heart of a lot of character issues that I've had a lot of thought around in terms of when you think about big business and you think about, and you hear all the terrible stories about how people screw each other over and all that kind of stuff. What happens post that? Because I always talk about it like this is going to happen. It's a dog eat dog world, pirate's code. Where does that end up, people? Do people become harsher, build a callus around them, like become callous and like build this shell around them? And actually what I really want to emphasize today is Tom's story, and I dive straight into afterwards and got him to really not reveal, but tell a bit more of the story that you never really hear to see how it plays out. Because I think, remember, what we're trying to do is that the human condition and the psychology behind it, not just the psychology, the beliefs, the character, the who we are. And I'm really excited for you guys to listen to this because Thomas is a speaker. He tells really cool stories. And we also get interrupted by Ray right at the very beginning. And I've left it in because it's a bit of fun. And that's what the whole point of this is, trying to see as much as you can, try and edit as little as possible for the time where we are. That's what I like. That's what it's going to be. So no further ado, please really enjoy the episode. The ending's also a little bit of a banger. So have fun. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Right, welcome back to the Identity Human podcast with your host, Don. And I have been promising I'd get people on because if you find the right person that sparks something in you, as in if I find the right person, I'm going to bring them on too. Oh, we just started to record. This is my wife, Thomas. This is my wife,
Wait, where's
Ray.
mine?
No, I will. Hold on.
Where's
I'm going to
mine?
meet. Yeah, where's
You
his?
can't get away that easy. You know, in every country in the world, what is that? What is that?
A protein bagel with slow roasted cherry tomatoes, smashed avo, and a garlic aioli.
Okay, it's rude to only offer to your husband and not to a get. You know what? No, let me flip it. Do you know in Norway and Sweden they have is a custom, is a culture. This is not nice actually. Say you have a kid and they go to a play date or a friend's house, and those friends start to have dinner. In Norway and Sweden, they tell your daughter or your son, go in the other room and wait till we're done with dinner. They do not offer food ever. It is in the culture. And I'm brought up in a Spanish culture. You offer like an insane amount of food, right? You take care of the kid.
Yeah.
Here, they're like, no. You go sit in the other room and you watch us eat. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's different. And to them, it's normal. What we do is crazy to them.
No, what we do, they think we're stupid. They're like, oh, look at all this free food. Oh, they're so weird. They're so different. And I'm like, no, you don't get it. I actually lectured them. I go, this is called love.
Yeah.
This is what you're supposed to do. And anywhere in the world, if you starve a child that's hungry, it's unacceptable. Well, we don't do things that way here.
It's just the way it's always been done. Right. So I just wanted you to meet Thomas.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, I actually came off the call last week and I went and told Ray in the kitchen. I was like, it was supposed to be a 15-minute call. And I was enthralled for like 60 minutes and it was really good. I was like, Thomas is on another level. So I'm glad that you actually came.
I'm telling you, I was so shocked. My daughter told me 2 years later. She didn't tell me then. If she'd have told me then, I would have went to them about the curse. I would have went to that house and ripped a hole in them. How do you let a child during dinner time sit there and not eat?
That's crazy.
Isn't
and
that?
now you're about to have a podcast, so you're not going to be able to eat or drink.
I know.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's fine. I'll watch
Lovely to meet you, Thomas. So good to meet you. I'll leave it in peace.
You owe me a bagel with sun-dried something. I don't know.
So Ray, we used to co-host and then we just got focused and then she's going to co-host again soon. So it's nice of you to meet her.
I gave you the wrong coffee. Then I'll
Look
I
at
gave
this.
you
Look
my
at
coffee.
Thank you.
you know what? You know what? If you start massaging his feet, I'm gonna throw up.
I do the same for her, not quite at this level though.
Do me a favor though. I want you to take a bite of that sandwich. Eat something. Put some food in you right now.
I'm not actually that hungry. This one I can
Okay.
wait.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate that though. Okay, where were we? Okay. I mean, the whole point of the podcast is I do as little editing as possible. So I'll edit some of that out, but you guys would have seen Ray come in with lunch, Thomas, how we engage with people. But that's exactly it. So I would like to introduce you guys to Thomas Anglero. And I chatted to him for it was supposed to be 15 minutes in our just pre-podcast meet. And it ended up genuinely being an hour. And I was like, I'm going to have to go because I got another meeting. But it was just, I love the way you just talked. And obviously, I know you through the Speakers Bureau introduction and the stories you told last week. I was like, I would love to see you live. I did a brief digging, brief as in we use ChatGPT because I know that you're massive on AI. We'll touch briefly on it, but I already know the angle that I'm going because your passion for the human side of it comes out a lot. Briefly, you grew up in New York. I saw, and we'll touch on this. You started like the first voice-to-voice free world dial-up company where they said you created Skype.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's a story and a half in there. If you want to go there, but keep going, whatever. Yeah.
I'll go back to that immediately. So then you went to, it's called you like the entrepreneur phase where you just were all about business and learning and understanding it. Yep. Then you moved to Norway where you had the IBM Watson Cancer Lab. You started that up.
Yeah.
Is that correct? That's fascinating. But it says you did the shift where you realized what is the most important thing is culture and leadership. Obviously, with all that experience around people, you recognized, and I think one of the lines that says that you said, don't fear technology, fear yourself.
That's the name of my.
I love that you're on this podcast for that.
Thanks. That's the name of my TED Talk. And the TED people came to me and like, Thomas, we have to publish your TED Talk on YouTube. What should we call it?
That.
Don't fear technology, fear yourself. I was like, but I still think in terms of viralness is a horrible title because there's a much more, marketing type title you should come with. But to me, that's the absolute core of it, right? It's not the tech. The tech triggers something within you. AI today is triggering, if you're playing with AI, it's triggering all sorts of things inside of you. We read in newspapers, people losing their jobs. It's triggering. So don't fear technology, fear yourself because you're, right now people that are worried about losing their job. Yeah, well, if you've been, doing barely nothing and getting away with it for a few years and getting paid a nice salary, guess what? Don't fear the technology, fear yourself. You've been lazy, you're busted, you're caught, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. I was going
to say there's something else on that is I've had that conversation a lot and we won't necessarily do all about AI, but it's the human side of this is there are also jobs that someone has been doing that AI can do and should be doing that, yes, you're going to lose it, but it means that you're left to do something that you can actually really enjoy doing for humans and for yourself. So I think sometimes you try and protect a job. You go, AI is going to take it. If it should, it should. Replace that so that we free ourselves up so that we can connect with people and connect with ourselves, which is, I think, where's the angle that you end up going to, isn't it?
It's the angle that we're all going to end up going to.
Yeah.
Who wants to work in a spreadsheet 8 hours a day? Okay, there's some people who do, very strange people walking on this planet.
Yeah.
I am not one of them. But human beings, we're here to be creative and living in the moment. And in that moment, like when we met, we just talked over this digital medium and we connected. That is what we're supposed to be doing. And me and you are two creative people. We're talking. And if we have our assistants called AI assisting us, we're coming up with ideas. We ask the AI, and a matter of fact, not even ask the AI. The AI is actually part of the conversation, right? Because it could listen, it could talk, right? But it has the ability to research almost everything that's ever been documented. Then human beings are able to use their creativity and intuitiveness to connect dots and things like that. That's what entrepreneurs are. They have this idea. No one's ever thought about it before. I have a definition for innovative, right? Because everybody says, "Oh, I'm innovative,"
Yeah.
Bullshit, right?
Yeah.
So, because my definition is very simple. If you're innovative, how you know you're innovative? One, likes you. Why? Because if you're truly an innovative person, that means that you just had an idea that no one else has ever had before. And if you're that very first person, there's 8 billion people on the planet, you'd have to convince 8 billion people and you'd have to annoy them,
Yeah.
right?
Change.
Like right now with AI, people are going, what is this AI stuff? I don't want to invest any time. It takes a while for those people to come on board. Well, if you're an innovative person and forget about AI, it's about something brand new, right? So AI, going back to the AI thing, we people are not made to sit at our desk and do all these things. We're made to be interactive, community based, talking, have fun, and say, "Hey, you, blah blah blah. What question? What about this?" You give us an answer, and we start talking and throwing ideas out. Boom, something happens, right? We could feed the community. We could solve a disease. That's where we're at. It is so exciting if we're looking at it community based and we're honest with each other and we use AI as a tool. But AI is only a tool. AI cannot fall in love. AI, you can't step on the toes of AI. It can't have a broken arm. AI is a thinking thing that assists us. If you look at it that way, you and AI will go like that into the future. If you look at it, it's going to take my job, you're going to run smack into a wall.
Yeah. And I think it comes down to have you ever read Unreasonable Hospitality, a book? I like the analogy that they use here. And it's the story of, I can't remember which restaurant it is. The details evade me. But they define their restaurant as service is black and white. So you're going to get a certain meal with a plate, knife and fork, drink, and a table, right? So they say you have to have the service. Hospitality is the color. Hospitality is how you make people feel when they're eating and like the details you remember and the above and beyond. You can almost bring AI and people into AI is the black and white. It is color is no color. It's black and white. It's going to give you certain knowledge and intelligence, but the people are always going to have the color, which is that feeling around it.
I like that. This perfect. You're better than me.
No. Thank you. We just click. Hey, well, I want to go back to free world dial-up. So you said there's quite a story in that.
Lord, free world dial-up. I'll keep the story. I mean, I've done quite a few things first in the world, and that was my first one. And so what was free world dial-up? Free world dial-up was a voice over IP communication service. I was the CEO, and we were allowed people. So I'm sorry, what year was this to give this reference? This is 2000, 2001. And that was still back in the days of dial-up internet. And the days of dial-up internet, nobody even knew what the internet was. That's when you go, hey, you're on the internet? People go, internet, right? You got to give this context, right?
Yeah, and dial-up as in...
Yeah. Exactly, right? I can do I have the tone of machines, the modems really well. It's ingrained in my head. So that shows how old I am. But to summarize a very passionate story short, I got into voice over IP because I fell in love with my girlfriend, who's now my wife. She's Norwegian. We were living in Brooklyn. She moved back to Norway. And the price of the phone calls were $15 per minute. $15 per minute.
Okay.
In 1999, 2000. That's a lot of money. Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, I was spending on phone calls to Norway the equivalent of my entire month's salary every month. And so, like we're saying, human beings were pretty innovative. And I said, you know what, this internet thing, or internet as we called it back then, I said, there's actually a server, a computer somewhere in Norway, and there's one here in Brooklyn because I was living in New York. And I go, why can't I just call that computer?
Okay.
So that's how I became. So this Israeli company launched the world's first voice IP service at 12 o'clock noon. At 12:01, I was on the phone to Hertz Relay Israel, calling the CEO, talking to him, saying, I got to be a beta tester because I'm in love and I got to save some money.
Yeah.
So that's how I became one of the first 10 people in the world ever to use the internet as a phone call, as a phone, so voice IP. That's one of my first things because of love. And then years later, turned it into a career and all that. And then free world dial-up. I was the CEO of a company in which we had people using it all over the world. And you would make a call to any other country in the world and you use this person's local phone line. And if they call, say, Brooklyn, they use my local phone line. So we all shared phone lines. But that's why we were able to make free phone calls all over the world. And this isn't, remember, I said it's dial-up. So this was so early that CNN heard about what I was doing, and they were funny. The woman says, this is the last time I was going to try to call you. I go, and I'm nervous, like, you're CNN? And then she goes, I've been trying to reach you for 3 days. This is the last time I was going to try. Anyway, she brought me in the studio. It was live on TV, 3 million people, and it exploded. I left that studio in Midtown Manhattan. I called my wife and I said, we did it. We'll never have to worry about money again. We broke through this glass ceiling. Like, everybody has that moment that they finally make it in life, and I felt so good about myself. And so we went home, and that was a really good moment. The next day I went to work, and the head investor, he was in the office. We shared the office, he owned most shares of the company. When I got to the front door of the office, there was all these cables into the front door, and they couldn't close the front door. And as I got there, the secretary stopped me, put my hand on my chest. She goes, you can't come in. Hold on a second. Let me go get the chairman of the board. And he met me at the door, and I go, what's all this about? And I asked the secretary, and she goes, every news station in the world flew in overnight. There's in the conference room, there's over 25 film crews ready to interview you because they saw your CNN interview. They're all here. And there's a guy from Japan who saw you, jumped on an airplane. He's in the air now flying. He's an investor. He wants to invest in a company, right? Wow. So this is one of these moments, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So the head investor meets me at the front door, and he goes, Thomas, you're fired. This is about me, not about you.
I knew the drop was coming.
True story.
And
he goes, they're all going to interview me. Now, I called him right after CNN. The woman called me on CNN, and I called him. I said, hey, CNN called me. I'm going to do this interview. Is it okay? And he goes, you know what? I hate CNN. They once wrote something bad about me years ago. I would never talk to them again. So then when I did really well live on CNN, the next day, he said, it's all about me. I'll never forget it. He goes, all about me. It's not about you. And 3 months, so I was fired on the spot. And 3 months later, the company went bankrupt. But all the work I had done to build it, I had to solve so many technical problems and all these things because, it's dial-up, it's firewalls. Mm-hmm. I shared that information with the founders of Skype. I shared that information with people who wrote the technology. I won't get so technical. Different pieces that make the reason why you can use Messenger today and WhatsApp. All that's founded on the stuff that I was working with. And I shared it for free. We were about Free World Up, all about free. And I shared it with all these guys. So the founders of Skype, I'll never forget, years after they made all their billions and everything like that, one of the guys came to Norway, and he was on stage, and he was giving a speech of how he founded Skype and did all this stuff. And I'm sitting in the audience, and he's talking so much bull because I was there. I was there before him, and I was there when they were doing everything. And he's in the middle of all his bullshit, and he's going, blah, 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 and I did this. And then he sees me, and in front of like hundreds of people, his jaw is just, and he says nothing, frozen. And I looked at him like, And then he goes, and he went, Then I got up from my chair, and I just left the conference hall, let him have his moment, but I didn't have to yell, call him out, and he knew, right? But I'm not saying I didn't create Skype. I did. All the foundation work, all the pieces. We actually, if you look at the CNN interview on YouTube, I'm talking about Skype. It's Skype, but it's 2 years before Skype.
Yeah.
But God bless them. They did it. They changed the world and all that. But there I was, and in somebody's own agenda, changed this path that I was on. And the killer was, I had 3 kids in diapers. My youngest was 6 months, and he knew that. And he still fired me. I had a mortgage, 3 kids in diapers. That was the first time life punched me in the face really hard when I thought I broke through, and for 12 hours, I broke through. And then, Well,
let's take it to that. I mean, if you don't mind,
No, I don't mind at all.
24 hours, 48 hours, a week, 2 weeks. Once you've been fired, you've not only been fired from a job which, you were CEO, you'll be proud of what you do. It enabled you to connect and that kind of stuff.
God.
Now you're about to go, life's made. Suddenly you're fired. What's going on at home? Like, how are we rebounding from that? Because there's people going to be listening that will be in a similar emotive space where they're trying to rebound from a loss of identity or something. What happened in the behind the scenes there?
All right. So I'll share it as real as possible so people can relate. My wife kept on asking me why and what did you do to him? Because that's the natural
Is that
human question.
unbelievable?
She loves
Yeah.
me. A beautiful. I'm not never going to blame her. She's the reason why I'm alive. God bless her. Really, seriously, I would be nothing without her. But that's what you're going to get at home when that type of stuff happens to you. And also, did you read the situation correctly? Right? All these questions come out because these things aren't supposed to happen. So what I did was I replayed it over and over and over and over, and there's only one recording. It was so simple. And then the story gets actually worse after that. So what do people do after that? You go get another job. But what happened was I went to an interview, CEO of a big telecom company, told him about who I was, my background. He had heard about me. He was super excited in the interview to hire me. He goes, listen, you got the job. I'm just going to make a phone call to just check on something. He comes back. I'm sitting in his office alone for 45 minutes. He comes back after 45 minutes and I'm like, and he says, get out of my office. And I go, what happened? I said, we've been talking for an hour and a half. Everything's great. I'm about to sign, come on. What happened? He goes, I just spoke to your head investor.
Mm-hmm.
He says, I should never hire you and he'll make sure nobody ever hires you. So he blacklisted me. And so when you ask me what happened next, it got uglier. And so what do? What I did was, I know I'm not a bad person. I know I didn't do anything wrong. I realized that in business is business. Now, this guy, the head investor guy, I babysat his kids. We were friends. We weren't colleagues. We were friends. He had some kids, some learning disabilities. I babysat his kids. Me and his wife were good friends. We were at a conference and he was about to go on stage and his father had died the night before. And he was crying in the corner. And he was about to go on stage to open the conference to 2,000 people and he couldn't. So I took his speech and I said, I got you. I'll take care of you. Went on stage. I was not prepared. And I read his speech and I opened the conference for him. That's what friends do.
Yeah.
No, but his definition of friends is when it comes to business, that's what he did to me.
Yeah.
And so look where I am today and how am I today? Not what, but how. I'm fine. You're going to be fine when life does that to you. When a friend stabs you in the back, stabs your family, takes away all your income, blacklists you. Skype was sold for $4 billion a couple of years later. He owned enough of the company that he would walk away with billions. And I could have got my little crumbs. We all would have been happy. No, it's okay. I have had a wonderful life and everything's fine. Things happen in life, but you go, I'm not, there's nothing wrong with me.
Yeah.
I respected and loved him and as a friend and treated him with great respect and I didn't deserve it. And that's just the hardest, darkest part of business is that when people see that money, they will stab you. Not everybody, but I got it. And I didn't see it. We were really close, really close. I could tell you more stories, but I don't want to spend too much time on it. There's so many, but around our friendship, how close we were. His conference, he was doing things in the US and I brought him to Europe and I introduced him to the CEO of Ericsson. I was working with Ericsson and he didn't know how to do it. I had 500 people come from Europe. I mean, I made him tens of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
And still he did this. So you cry, you question who you are, your family. We almost lost our house because we couldn't pay our mortgage. So I ended up getting a job at an electronics store called, it was called CompUSA, and they went bankrupt, and I had to work at a Circuit City. Oh my God. Selling mobile phones, the subscription. Oh, it was horrible. But I had to do it because I needed a health insurance for my kids and stuff like that. So yeah, that's what I did. So I said, you know what? So what, I'm in the CEO. So what, I've been in CNN. So I've been flown around the world. So what I need to get a job. I got a job for minimum wage working on commission.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. And I'm not embarrassed to tell the story. I had to take care of my family and life went on. Oh, and then after that, after that incident where he where he blacklisted me, 2 weeks later was 9/11, and then there were no jobs. And so my wife and I said, let's move back to Norway. So we sold our house and there was nothing left in the United States for us. So, but that was a very heavy period of our life. We
Yeah.
almost lost everything. And I did nothing wrong other than I treated him as a friend in a business context. And I still do. And it's been one of my biggest flaws in my career. If we're working together as colleagues and stuff, I am going to treat you as a friend, respectful. But some people aren't wired that way.
So that's one thing I've wrestled with a lot, because going into the business world, you often will, there's almost a separation where CEOs get a reputation, not most CEOs, but CEOs get a reputation where they say you don't form relationships with or friendships with your colleagues and your employees. And that's one thing I'm wrestling is with what has helped you not lose that, even in the face of, because I think you've got this wisdom that's really calming and you've kept on to that, but you even are aware that might, do you think that still what helps you fall short if you were to go back into the like dog eat dog world? Or do you think that would still be a character strength? You would just know to find the right people? Or are you still going forward with this thing that like, if you screw me over, that's on you, not on me, because I'm happy with who I am. Does that make sense in how I frame that?
100% makes sense. You're just going so damn deep into some of the darkest stuff that is in my head. So why not? The universe works in funny ways. So let's just open the Komodo. I wrestle with this all the time. It's like right now I'm wrestling with it too, right? Because I'm talking to CEOs all the time, and one-on-one. Like the reason why I think we connected is because one-on-one I'm me. There is no business mode. The business mode is the intellect. I always could come up with a strategy for something. That is stupid easy. It just is there. But if I had a, you must choose those people in life that you give love to. You cannot give open love, open, transparent love to everybody. You're going to get burnt.
Yeah.
You're going to get burnt. So in the business context, be friendly, be extremely respectful, be polite, be nice, be friendly, be everything. But in the office environment or when you travel, the partners and projects, choose the individuals that you will give that special, I use the word love, that attention, that openness to. But you have to have in your head, there's going to be a handful. There might only be one. There might be none. But you cannot do that to everybody because people aren't prepared for it. And in the case of the story we've been talking about, whatever culture or upbringing and the way he saw life, that was normal for him. And he didn't see that as bad. That was his modus operandi, right? That's the way he existed. I existed this way. He existed that way. So don't ever change who you are, but just be selective because other people, they see you as easy bait, manipulative, vulnerable, naive, and you're not. You're just open. But a lot of people don't come from that environment or have that culture, or even their parents never gave it to them. So now they meet you at work and like, oh, look at this sucker. I'm not a sucker. I just love to be where I am and be me. They're not used to that, right? So protect yourself by love everyone, but choose the few. That's the best way to go about it. Right. And but that took me my entire life to figure out. And then it sucks. I'll be honest with you. I prefer being the person I've always been. And it's a conscious decision I have to do now to remind myself, Thomas, shut down a little bit. You're being too open. And it's so not me.
Yeah.
You know, I don't miss the money. And there's other stories I have where I founded things and did things and lost a lot of money or whatever, or never lost it because I never had it. But so what? What is the difference would be? We having this phone call. What I would have a bigger picture in the background. I mean, if I had all this money, you know, when people die, I think we talked about it. You know, when the nurses, right, in a hospice, right, when there's these nurses that they've worked there for 30 years at a hospice, and there's always 10 things people think about when they die, and it's never about money. The number one thing is always, did I tell the people who were in my life that I love them? Like, next one is, why did I work so much? And so if you know this, that the last moments of your life, you have all this money, you're dying.
Yeah.
You screwed how many people? No one's around you. No one wants to be around you. You don't have any legacy. And matter of fact, the legacy that you left money behind, thank you, stupid, die, and I'm going to go do whatever I want. Your legacy, life is meant to be that as you talk to someone and you touch them and they touch you and you're sharing something like we're doing digitally,
Yeah.
and you can hold on to that and you think about that. And in moments of crisis, moments of happiness, you think about that person. You are having an incredible life. And I mean, like these poor countries, these people are happy, singing, dancing. God, why do you think we travel all the way over there to be with them? Because they figured it out. It's not about the Mercedes, the Ferrari. You know, I live in a wealthy neighborhood here. These idiots always ask me, Thomas, how come you don't have a new car every 6 months? I'm like, why do you even ask me this question?
Yeah.
You know, who are you? That's the only question I want to hear when you meet me,
Yeah.
you know? So,
Yeah. And I think, that's a brilliant answer, by the way. And I think it's touching on some themes that I read I've done a talk on AI, and the talk I essentially did was, I was like, I'm not really going to talk about AI. I'm going to talk about me. And I'm going to say that all my viewpoint on AI is going to reveal your character more and more. And the new version of Rich, and what you were touching on there, is we used to think that your character was shown by the Porsche, the Ferrari, how much money you have. But actually what you really need to see is your character is going to be shown by just who you are, because AI is doing everything else and leaving you out in the spotlight. And that's going to be the new version of Rich in the future. How do it's not a question, it's more reflection. It's like, how do you maintain your essence, the gift that you've got, and show the people that would ordinarily screw you over that they need to be inspired by you, rather than think that you are the person that is weak because you're easy to take advantage of. Because I
don't
think
change.
that's probably the evolution, isn't it?
Yeah, but don't change. You know, success, your smile, the things you do, and the adversity, that the way you go through adversity in your life, and those people who are watching you and they are absolutely disgusted, you won. You're winning. That's it. That is the formula. Simple. You don't need to buy anything. You don't need to do anything. Just exist. Be you. It costs you nothing. What it does cost you in the short term is painful. It's
Yeah.
lonely. It's
Yeah.
very lonely being that only person. But being alone is a wonderful thing. You just got to get there. You
Yeah.
know, this weekend I went for a walk in the woods. I'm lucky to have the woods right behind me. A forest. I could walk all the way to Sweden from Norway. I mean, it's just pure woods. And I said, I'm going to go for a little walk. 4.5 hours later, I'm still out there. I'm not even bring any food, any water. But connect, enjoy the birds, enjoy just being you, enjoy, oh man, I felt that breath, that connection with you. And then you go, how's anybody going to mess with me? You can't bother me. You made fun of me. My car I'm laughing because who cares? Be so comfortable with yourself, right? Oh, I'm a little overweight. Okay. More cushion for the pushing. What do you want? Right? Comfortable with yourself. And then, you're indestructible. And the people that are coming after you, that are envious, that hate you, will hate you even more, because at the end of it, because what they really do is they envy you.
Yeah.
They don't have that. So that's the ultimate counter, is be very happy who you are. Be very happy who you are, not what you are, not overweight, skinny, tall, short, who you are. That's it, right? You need some, yeah.
Yeah, it's, if you listen to the other 99 episodes that I've done, maybe 78 of them would be around that, and how we really embody that. Because I think I'll chat to a lot of people, and the first layer is when they identify as what they do and what they achieve. So then you start to say, well, you put that aside, then there's who you are, and they go, I don't know who I am. And then they go on this journey to try and explore that and discover that. Then they realize, oh, actually, that makes me feel alive. So I'm going to go towards that.
Yeah.
But the issue, and this is where I'll tie in what you're saying, is once you decide what lights you up and you start to do that, you're innovating who you are, right? You're reminding yourself, you're not creating something new, you're creating who you already are. But I want to bring in your definition of innovation where people don't like it. And that's got to be the hardest thing about really embracing you, is because you're conditioned into the surrounding. Then you decondition, you're like, this is who I am. And people go, no, don't like that. Don't like that. How, like, what's a word of wisdom, insights or courage that you can give anyone that's listening to it going like, but if I want to be me, it means I have to stop drinking and all my friends drink. If I want to be me and work out at 5 a.m., people say that's boring. So there's those challenges that just come your way constantly from the trolls.
Not challenges. Stop listening to people.
Yeah. I love it.
These people that you're listening to, are they there in your moments of crisis? We all been through moments of crisis where we're alone and we're crying on the inside, crying on the outside. The worst crisis is you're almost in a fetal position in some corner or something. Somebody died, or where are these people? Now, if someone came and hugged me at the time I needed it, I'm going to listen to that person.
Yeah.
That person's got me, right? They're not there for you. They weren't there for you. So what the hell are you doing spending time listening to them? Who you are, what you are is decided by you. Your time of day, you want to work out, just work out. There is I have yet to see a book that tells me what to do, how to do it. I could buy one, but I don't want to buy somebody else's words. What works for me, the reason why I fell in love with my wife and nobody else on the planet and we worked out is because it's for me. What's for you, do for you. Stop listening to people. Stop asking people freaking questions. You know, you want to get up at 4:30 in the morning? Go ahead and do it. Here's a great story. Before I moved to Norway, I was doing training for triathlons, right? Living in Brooklyn, still living in Brooklyn. And I live in this apartment building, and I would get up every day at 5:30. I would have to be outside by 5:45, or it would take too long to train and make it to work by 8 o'clock, right? And I lived in that building for like 4 years. Big apartment building. And I only met like 1 or 2 neighbors ever talked to me. I don't know. People just didn't talk, right? The New Yorkers, we talked to everybody, but in this building, you know what? I tell you, it must have been about 50, 70 apartments in that building. And I only saw like 3 people ever. I guess because I'm outside at 5 o'clock in the morning or something, right? But I was like, this building's I never see anybody. Anyway, the day before I'm moving out, right? Packing all my stuff, moving to Norway and everything. A bunch of people come to me. Thomas, we heard you moving out. I'm like, who the hell are you? I've never seen you before. Like, no, we're really upset. And what are you talking about? They go, all of us, we all watch you every morning. Some of us get up in the morning at 5:30, 5:45, and we watch you get on your bike or in the snow, you go running, and sometimes you ran on that bike. We thought you were crazy, but you inspired us. For 4 or 5 years, you inspired everybody in this building. I never forgot that story because I wasn't getting up that early to inspire anybody. I was doing me.
Yeah.
And there are people watching. People are going to be watching you. People are always watching you. And you do you, and you will inspire and change people's lives. And these people saying, yeah, because of you, I went for walks. All these people in this building started telling their families about all this guy who gets up at 5:30 in the morning every morning. Just be you, do you. Don't listen to anybody. And I'm telling you, people are watching, and they're going to model themselves after you. They're going to make up stories about you. You know, that's it. That just do you. You are that social media superstar. It'll come if it's meant to be, but if it doesn't, who gives a shit? Do you, you know?
And I suppose they do you for you, not do you for other people.
Yeah, 100%. Do you for you, because other people will,
Well, you know, it brings it, because I know I didn't necessarily want to go down the leadership and culture route, because there's a lot of podcasts out there and I say, and there is actually a really good principle that, have you ever read The Motive by Patrick Lencioni?
No, sir.
It's a whole story about 2 CEOs. One's doing really well, one's doing badly. The one that's doing badly tries to like sneak some information and get the same coach and all this kind of stuff. So they end up meeting. And the CEO that's doing well ends up, it's just a story between the two of them and like the lessons they learn. One's clearly the technical expert that loves managing, hates meetings, he's like, I want to be here. The guy that's doing well is like, it's just about how good the meetings can be, how well I can get other people to be. And the whole story ends up in such a great space. But the takeaway is this, is introduces, and Lencioni in his summary says, you get two levels of motivation, which we flutter in and out of all the time, but which one are you in most of the time? There's reward-centered motivation and responsibility-centered motivation. So reward-centered CEO goes, now that I'm here, I deserve £10,000 bonus, a car. You guys need to respect me, okay? The responsibility-centered goes, now that I'm here, how can I be even better for the people I have to lead? And I always take that principle and put it into as an individual. Like if you're out there doing triathlons, responsibility centers, I need to show up as my best possible, and this is how I do it. Whereas the reward centered motivation goes, I'm training so that other people can see me. And therefore, if they don't see me, I don't want to train. And I often will look into an individual and say, are you operating from a reward or responsibility center? Because responsibility is, I now see that I need to do this for me. So I'm pitching up at 5 a.m. in the morning because I love me. And that immediately makes everyone else good. Whereas reward center is like, well, I've pitched up for 3 weeks. No one's really saying, well done. What about me? And it leads you into that victim mentality. And it kind of ties into what you were saying there, is like you were just pitching up for you and other people were watching and cheering on, but you never knew it, but it didn't stop you.
No. And you remind me, so great story. And you remind me, I've done a lot of keynote speeches. I know. So I've done already 450 of them around the world. And I'm motivated, and most of them on technology and stuff, but a few of them are motivational speakers. I love doing motivational speeches, but I have a plan to be a motivational speaker. You found out about me, about my AI background and everything. And yet me being me led me to be a motivational speaker, which led me to change so many people's lives. And it only came about because I was me.
Yeah.
And I think I told you a story when we first talked. I'll share with everybody now, but I did a motivational speech on stage for university. I love doing motivational speeches for university college students because, that's planting seeds at a, exponential level, And anyway, I did a motivational speech, and I was taking the subway one day or whatever, taking a train, and this guy's staring at me from across the train. And, my New York mode kicks in. So, I make a fist, and I'm like, if this guy comes over here, I'm going to beat the living crap out of him. I take it with me everywhere. I can't turn the damn thing off. Born in Manhattan, that's the way it is. Anyway, so the guy starts walking to me. So I'm like, all right, I'm about to clock this guy. and he looks at me with a serious face, and he goes, are you Thomas Anglero? And I go, yeah. And then he turned into a baby, his face. And he said, I was at your keynote 3 months ago at blah, blah, blah. And I go, oh, yeah. I said, thank you for taking the time to come. He goes, no. He goes, you changed my life. And I said, what are you talking about? He goes, the very next day after your keynote, I moved back to my home country in India and I started a company. And he says, no, it was a year ago. A year had transpired. He goes, that was a year ago you did the speech. And he goes, now a year later, I just moved back to Norway. And now I'm making over $1 million a month. And I employ tons of people. And because of you changed my life. Because of what you said, you made me leave everything. And I went for it. I believed in me. And now my family is fine. My extended family is fine. I'm employing people and they have families. We're all doing well because of you. Thomas, can I hug you? And we both started crying on the train.
Yeah, that must have meant a lot.
It meant a lot. And I have tons of these stories, right? And the point of the stories is that I was just being me. That's it. Just be you. Don't look about, you keep on the examples you give, like the person reward based. Oh, what? Nobody's excited that I'm doing all these things. I should stop doing it. That's external. Be you. The world's watching you irregardless. Yeah. But don't do it like, oh, everybody's watching. That's not it. Just be you. Love where you're at. Love the people where you're at. If you're not, you're lifting weights and you're lifting 1 kilo, 2 pounds, that's okay. Do your thing. Just do you, because there's somebody watching going, wow, do you, and everything happens. 450 keynotes is a lot of talking I've done on stages,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's picking up again. And I look forward to it only because I'm allowed to be me to more people. That's my drive. I want to share as much as I can. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the answer to your Pete, to everybody watching. Just be yourself, and you go viral too so many ways. Forget about the social media bullshit. People fall in love with you. People just fall in love with the fact that you're lifting 2 pounds or 1 kilo every day. That is freaking inspiring. All
Yeah.
right. That is seriously inspiring stuff. The fact you make it to the gym, the fact that you go for a walk, the fact that you show up, the fact that your boss disrespects you every single day, but you still go, okay, and you deliver, that's inspiring. Do you.
Yeah.
Just do for you. Like you said, do you for you. It's beautiful. It's,
And yeah, I want to lead you into one last story.
yeah, we could do
When we
stories all day
chat,
long.
yeah, I know, and I think there's been so many things that people can take away from it, but because we're going at all levels here, like
Yeah,
you could just be sweeping the floors at some school
100%.
or anywhere, and still that advice is golden. But I see the effect that has. You told a story about a lady that you helped when you're going for a walk. Do you remember that one? Where she had either just been let go of a job as a CEO, and she was putting on that CEO performer front, always analyze, always.
Yeah, I remember that
Please could you
story too.
tell that again? Because I have a massive passion for trying to get, if you're in a CEO position, if you have responsibility of 100, 200,000 people, it's the most important time to know to be yourself. And that story is the takeaway is it's hard to recognize when you're not being yourself, when you're
Yeah.
so used to the performer side. So I'm hoping that if you can just recollect that story in a way that it helps.
No problem at all. So I went for a walk with a CEO. She 26 years with the same company, started at the bottom, made it all the way to be the CEO of the company for the country of Norway. And by the way, in height wise, she was barely 5 feet tall. So I mean, a little thing, right? But again, if you're a woman and you're 5 feet tall, and I guess you're 19, 20 years old and you're starting out of college, you have a lot to prove, right?
Yeah.
You don't want people to say, "Oh, she's so cute." That's not professional. So this woman proved herself for 26 years and she made it to be the CEO. But along the way, she became very hard, right? Her voice became very hard. And because she's always has to fight and always had to prove herself. So we went for a walk. This is just a week or two ago, along this beautiful stream. And the whole time she's talking, she's doing 95% of the talking with this voice of this. She's, very serious voice. Anyway, I stop her in front of where there's this beautiful waterfall, right? And she's still talking. And I stopped and asked, "Do you realize there's a waterfall here?" "Oh, yeah." And I go, "You've been talking for 45 minutes in a row, and you never realized that we walked along a beautiful stream and there's an incredible waterfall right here. You're not aware of where you are." So I asked her, "When are you you? Because right now you're talking to me as if you're doing you're presenting, your pipeline numbers, your profit loss, your whatever, traditional leadership talk stuff." She goes, "You know what, Thomas? Tuesday and Thursday I go horseback riding. And when I go approach the horse in the stables and I'm in this business mode you call me in, the horse stares at me and freezes. And I realize I have to be me or that horse is not going to let me approach. And then all of a sudden I drop it all and I become me." And I go, "Great." I said, "You know what? You just got fired from your job." That's why we went for the walk. She got fired because the global CEO fired her. She lost herself. She didn't know who she was because she'd become this 5-foot tall pit bull. And she had no softness in her. And her boyfriend, I told her, do you go home? What voice do you use?" "I just talked to my boyfriend." I said, "But doesn't your boyfriend want to have a soft voice?" And she had not reflected at all. She had lost herself and became this thing. So I said, so when you're with the horse, you're you. She goes, I have to be me. The horse won't let me approach. I can't ride it. I have to just forget everything. And I said, so let me give you a gift. No, I actually told her, I think I said, can I be direct with you? I would buy
That is a gift.
And I said, whenever you need to center yourself again in the corporate world, because you're not centered at all, you're lost. Look into the audience, look into the conference room, whatever meeting you have, and then say, would you, when you're about to talk, would you say what you're about to say if the horse was in the room? And her eyes just were like, it shifted. I saw the shift happening in her head. And then we started walking back, and then it was quiet for a long time as we walked back to our cars. And then she turned around to me, she goes, so what do you do again with leaders and CEOs? And the point of that story is there's a lot of points to that story, but you don't have to be, you get lost, but you can find your way back. And it always comes back to just being you.
Yeah.
Just, and it, you know what? And let's not, let me be very clear, because you want me to be real with people. Finding you, you'll never find it. I'm still hunting for who the hell I am, right?
Yes.
It's an impossible journey. You're never going to get there. But along the way, that's the process. That's the beauty of it all. You're finding things about yourself. You're getting comfortable with yourself. And you will get that job, because we're entering a very bad time now in the economy, and most people will lose their jobs or whatever. Let me tell you something. People want to be with people who are comfortable and wonderful to be around. Some people, they they'll never tell you, but they love you just being around, right?
Yeah.
Well, that you being you and having this aura, this energy of I'm comfortable with me, people could just hire you just because they want to have somebody who's comfortable in their own skin. I want to be like you, but they'll never use those words, right?
Yeah.
And this woman, she's having a rough time finding her next job because she's this damn pit bull. But the gift I gave her was just be you. And she understood that. And then I asked her, I said, can you use that with your boyfriend? And then her head went spinning around. She actually, the analogy of being with a horse, she was like, wow, I've only used a hard voice with my boyfriend. And I wanted to ask her, has he ever heard your soft voice? That's then you're really lost, right? So not magic. Your destiny is within you, about you, for you, but it only happens when you're you, because then the right people, the right conversations, and things will happen. I went through that whole free world dial-up thing, which was absolute hell. And then more things happened. Founded more things great. People screwed me again. I think it's happened 3 or 4 times in my career, and I'm still being me. I don't have the Elon Musk money, but I have so many wonderful stories of people who say that I changed their life, and that wasn't my agenda.
Yeah.
I'll end this thing one more small short story. Keep it short, because I have a podcast. I have 2 podcasts. I have a podcast for business people called Clarity at the Top, and that's all about business and AI. Great podcast. And then I have the one that I've been doing it for 6-7 years called Soul of Innovation, and that's me talking. Me opening my soul, talking about your soul and love and everything. If you want to hear more of this, just listen to that one. Anyway, the Soul Innovation Podcast, I do it. I don't know, I know I have tens of thousands of listeners, whatever, but I do it because I know people, especially men, we don't talk about this stuff openly. And so I share the love. That's why I do it. One day on Instagram, I get a DM on Instagram, and I guess the woman included a video, and she was in the Ukraine or Slovenia, so something. So I don't remember. And she said, Thomas, I'm a single mom. My son is 6 years old. He has no father. He's never had a father. But every single night, we play your podcast, Soul Innovation, and your voice puts him to sleep every night. He feels comfortable with you.
Wow.
So she took her mobile phone, opened the door to his room, and she recorded him listening to my voice, and him in his little pajamas, laying in his little bed, falling asleep listening. I cried for like 20 minutes, man.
Yeah, I can imagine.
What else that's life. That's what money doesn't give you that.
Yeah.
That's it. You do these things, just be you, and all these amazing things happen.
Do you know that the trick with this is recognizing that everything that you have spoken is, once you've experienced the feeling, you'll never ever doubt it. You never doubt the feeling of knowing you more, but knowing that you don't know you, right? Because it's a feeling you can't describe, but you feel it. The same way that what you just said in that story is you recognize the feeling that you give that child when he's falling asleep is safety that he can't get otherwhere. That is rewarding. So when people are listening to this, is like, my thing now is, don't try and analyze everything Thomas has said and go and try that, haven't done it yet. Understand that unless you experience this journey, it's going to be very hard to put into words what it's all about. So how do we have a bit of faith that go through that journey, keep trying until you start to feel the feeling of who you are? Because I used the example this morning where it came from a story like 2 years ago. Someone said to me, Don, why did you start Identity Human? And I said, well, do you know that question of who are you? And someone asked me that, and I was a bit like, I don't really know. And there's this fear that comes up because we should know who we are because I'm me, right? And then I said, I started to coach and I'd ask people that same question. And some people would cry and I don't know who I am. And I was like, right, we're going to go down this rabbit hole of how do we find out who we are? And that's why I started Identity Human, got the digital course, got all those things, and it helps you get us more centered and aligned to who you are. And they said, okay, great. Well, who are you then? And I said, do you know what? I still don't know, but I love it. I said, that for me it's just that feeling that starts to come with it. And that's all it is.
Yeah,
and it's always changing. Like you said, you're never going to get there, but that's the beautiful thing.
Right. And so let's share the wisdom. The wisdom is the who are you? The answer is that journey is the who are you. It's not a final destination. There's no such thing. It is on the way to figure out who you are. And how do you figure out who I am? Do nothing.
Yeah.
That's what I do. Do nothing. Go for a walk in the woods. No telephone, no Walkman. Walkman's 20 years ago, whatever. iPod,
I know what it is. Don't worry.
Yeah, I'm joking around. No distractions. Just go for the walk. And when you go, oh, this is so boring, go deeper.
Yeah.
Why is this boring for me? And then you have thoughts and memories of things that happen. Why did I think about that? I haven't thought about that in a while. Okay, why did that happen? Why did that person do that? Go deeper. And there's the journey of who you are. That's it, people. That's it. It's the journey. You're not trying to get to someplace. Yeah. You're just like going down and understanding how you took a trauma or an incident and you placed it someplace. You got to let it go. You got to get comfortable with you. And you're just going to so damn relaxed. And you're like, and you're going to come back and people are like, you're radiant or you're something. And yeah, because I'm comfortable. Yeah. Remember, again, times are going to get really hard. Times are hard for a lot of people. People want to be in tough times, want to be with people who are beautiful, not in terms of looks, but just beautiful.
Energetically, yeah.
Yeah. You are. Everyone listening, you are. But the way you get there is that journey, that's it. You never get there, but you enjoy the journey along the way. And a lot of people will not understand what the hell you're talking about, but then you have to tell people what you're doing. But when more and more people hate you, then you're doing really well on the journey because they're envying the energy you're giving that they can't figure out what's changed about you. And you're irritating the crap out of me more than you did before. Yeah. Yeah, baby. I'm good.
Thomas, I really appreciate your insight and wisdom. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you. To wrap up. Yeah.
Thank you for doing what you're doing. You are asking the right questions. You're finding people and you're allowing people to look at themselves and be uncomfortable in this moment. And that's the beginning of the journey, right? To be brave enough to start even thinking about this, to just listen to this podcast, right?
Yeah.
So congratulations to you, Don. I mean, seriously, we need more people like you because, you're an influencer and you're that pivot. Should I go left or right on this road? My life will change if I do this or that. So keep doing you. People are listening to you. You're making a difference. God bless you.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Where can anyone that wants to follow your journey find you, by the way?
Wonderful. So Soul of Innovation is my podcast where I give everything.
Yeah.
And by the way, 90% of them are recorded at 5:30 in the morning because I wake up, I'm literally sleeping and I wake up in the middle of the night and I go, I just got to share this. Seriously, a
Download,
lot of
yeah.
them, you know, anyway, Soul Innovation, if you want to
We'll
really,
put some links in the
yeah,
description.
thank you. And then if you're a business leader and you want to talk about how do you become a leader in this AI era and how do you get through those challenges, then I have a podcast called Clarity at the Top. And if you are interested in having me be a speaker at some of your events, just go to my website, which is my last name, Anglero.com, Thomas Anglero, Anglero.com. And I got tons of videos there and tons of information, stuff like that. And irregardless to any of you out there, don't be a stranger. If we never talk, if we ever never meet, I love you. I believe in you. I truly do. Don't listen to all the crap that's going on. Quiet yourself. And the one big advice I could give you,
Yeah.
to everybody,
Yeah, I was going to ask.
when you talk to someone, look them deep in their eyes. Now, not the idiot at work who annoys you. It's not
The
going to
right
work.
person.
No,
Yeah.
but those people or that moment, it's not about people. That moment where you're talking to someone, it could be a complete stranger. Look in their eyes, feel them. As I always tell people when I'm on stage doing my thing, I go, I don't care if you don't remember what I said, but you got to remember what you felt when you heard me. Have people remember what you felt like. Look them deep in the eye and look at them with love and openness. You don't have to say anything and watch them change. That is the biggest gift I could give to everybody. Find those moments. Not everybody. Don't go to Walmart and just start staring at people. That ain't gonna work. But those moments, like done. Your wife was there before we started recording. When
Yeah.
this is all done, I want you to go up to her, hug her, don't say anything, look her deep in her eye. She's gonna go, "What's going on?" Don't say anything. Just look her deep in her eyes and watch her just like melt.
I've been doing that a lot recently, and it's quite funny to see when you just keep
There it is.
that space.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
it's the simple first. It's a simple way of finding out your power with other people,
Yeah.
total strangers. Some people will not like that because they're going, I've done this with people and they get so angry at me. They go, because they go, you see me, and they don't want to be seen.
Yeah.
They're not ready. Other people will go, you see me.
Yeah.
You see me. That's what we need more as human beings.
Yeah.
So
More connection.
that's my final words.
Perfect. Thomas, thank you very much. I appreciate it. We've been amazing to speak on and have on the podcast. So.
Thank you. Thank you. It's all you, baby.
All right. Cheers. And I'll
Bye,
just
baby.
sign off to everyone, same way I always do. Remember, Ubuntu, we are who we are through others. So I'll work on me for you if you work on you for me. Have a great day.